Tell me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and Free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
And so, I mean, I was reading this article and said, don't act like it's, don't be surprised.
Well, then there's those you hear about that they foil before they happen.
Right, yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. That was,
We just had another one, I think, Sacramento or someplace in that area.
And, I was reading today, and I was just trying to find it online, but there was a mass shooting at a zombie theme festival
Some Halloween?
today. Yeah, for Halloween. There was, and I'm trying to find the article again on Yahoo. I read a little bit of it. Evidently, somebody went up to some playground where people were having a zombie-themed show and festival, and opened fired, and a few people were wounded, and somebody got killed. So we was actually getting ready to come up here when I saw the story.
wow.
So I didn't get a chance to finish reading that, and I was trying to find it before we started the topic so I can have all the facts. But I'm going to try to continue to locate it so I can bring those facts. But I believe that just happened today.
Well, I have one that happened over the weekend, and it involves guns once again. And let me just read this because this is the one I was going to anyways, a 3-year-old boy who was hit. A 3-year-old boy who was one of 2 people killed in city shootings in Chicago since Saturday night was accidentally shot by his 6-year-old brother while the two were playing cops and robbers. The boy, whom authorities identified as Ian Santiago, was at a residence at about 9:05 p.m. in the 1000 block of North Francisco in the Humboldt Park neighborhood on the west side of Chicago when his 6-year-old brother got hold of a revolver and shot him in the head. According to the police, the two had been playing cops and robbers when the 6-year-old saw a handgun atop the refrigerator, took it and fired it in the direction of his brother. The boy's father was charged with felony child endangerment in connection with the shooting. He kept a loaded gun on the top of a refrigerator, according to the police, and he is expected to appear in court Sunday.
And Doc, I found the one that Dre was mentioning too. That's the ZombieCon event. It was in Florida, so that was today. You're right. Chaos broke out at a zombie-themed street festival in downtown Fort Myers, Florida, after a shooting left 1 man dead and 5 other people wounded. It's probably, sounds like it's a Halloween-themed event. There's probably kids there. Somebody's dead. It could have been a whole lot more. And this is just an everyday thing.
And I'm sure, both of these cases, the weapons of choice were firearms, were guns.
Gunshot wound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every time these things come up, especially the big ones, the mass shootings, the school shootings, there the issue of gun control comes up again, and so on and so forth. I guess these things are happening so often it should never go away, but it does. And I'm not so well. I just want to talk about guns tonight. I just want to talk about guns, everything, period. And I could start by saying, just for me, and I think I can safely say this, that America has a love affair with guns. I mean, they got a love affair with guns.
When you said that, I thought of Malcolm X starting that speech off where he says, ladies and gentlemen, America has a problem. And he says the problem is us, but substitute us with guns.
Well, they do have, Americans have a love affair with guns. It goes back to the Wild Wild West and the firearm and the Colt revolver. And, it's just, and then, of course, there's the Second Amendment that, guarantees, that gives you.
You could say we wouldn't be America without the gun.
Well, you could easily say that because that's how they basically, builds America.
And it's written into the
into the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I guess what the phrase I use, and I wrote this phrase that I guess, Q, what I'm saying, it seems that there are more guns than there are people, right? And as I began to think about this, that threw everything into the pot. I put the Second Amendment in there. I put the issue of gun control in there. I put all it in there. I just want to throw it all out and I just want to know how people feel about a country that is saturated with firearms. I mean, there are more. Like I said, there are more firearms with people, and I guess everybody basically has one for the same reason. Everybody. They carry one for protection. Everybody. And I'm actually writing a piece about it. And then I want to, so I wrote this piece. Everybody's,
there are collectors. I know people who just have them in their house that they don't necessarily. And then there are hunters, but yes.
Well,
the majority.
Yeah, I guess so. And I guess the hunters, but when these things come up and people say they're going to get guns, they basically say the same reason. So the boys in the hood, and girls in the hood, they got a gun because they saying they got to have one for what? Protection. And what do they say? I got to have protection because, and I ask them why. I said, well, it's dangerous in my neighborhood. That's their logic, their reason. They got to have one for protection. Okay? Their commandment is thou shalt carry a gun for protection. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. The athletes and the entertainers, they said they need one for protection because they're famous.
They're targets.
They're famous. They're targets, and they might get jacked or robbed. Mm-hmm. So the homeowners, they said they need one because somebody might break into their home, so they need a gun for protection, right? The staff and the teachers, are now carrying guns on school grounds because they say they need them for protection, all right? They have the right to protect themselves. In fact, there was an Oakland school board voted, they allow the staff to pack heat at school because they said they needed protection. Kids carry guns to school because they said they need it for. I mean, that's that's what they say, right? Okay, all right. Citizens who are concerned that the government is going to impose martial law, they got weapons. They have weapons. You not even say gun. They have weapons. They have cash. How do you say cash?
Weapon cache.
Caches. They got like 5,000 guns, right? Because they need it for protection against the
government.
The government, okay? All right? The folks that see Ferguson or Baltimore in the aftermath of, police shootings when, things get out of hand, they go get guns because they say they need it for protection. I guess they feel that I guess they perceive the rioters are going to come over there. I don't know why they think that, but they feed it for. So what got me is that everybody's got the same reason.
You know who must be doing good? Gun manufacturers.
Absolutely. What?
Lord.
So here's the interesting thing about gun manufacturers. Anytime there's a mass shooting, they worried about, gun control. So that's when everybody, it's not gun control itself, it's the idea of gun control.
So you're saying mass shootings actually lead to a a spike in
Yes.
gun sales, actually make more money for gun manufacturers.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
that's
Yes.
sick and twisted.
Yes,
But
and the NRA benefits because of their membership and their fees. So guns, and you know, I always say disease of violence makes money. It's all about money. It's all about money. But what struck me is that everybody has the same reason. They're caring for protection, and it seems like the reaction to I mean, some folks say, I mean, okay, and let me just deal with the homies, right? But the homies will say there are too many guns on the street. They'll say that, man, Dr. Marshall, too many guns on the street. And the way they deal with too many guns on the street is
Being strapped.
to get another gun, which makes more guns on the street. So
I heard the phrase last week after Oregon I had never heard this before. Maybe you heard it before. A gentleman said, "A well-armed society is a polite society."
that's what he said.
That was a really interesting way to say it.
it-
But that's he believed that.
And that's the whole thing. That's why when I talk about this, I can't be logical. I mean, I can't cite studies, and there's some really, fascinating studies that talk about. Here's one that says guns don't deter crime. Okay, they don't. They don't. This is not a logical thing I'm finding out. It's just like it's not logical when the homies tell me, "Why you told me not to carry a gun, man? The hell is hella dangerous out here." I know a little old lady who lives in I'm not gonna say your name, huh? A little old lady who lives, and she got a gun. She got a gun. Why? Because it's dangerous in the neighborhood she live in. So it's not a logical thing. But what I said is that it seems like everybody's scared. Because everybody's scared, they go get a gun. But they say there's too many guns. So see, and it's the truth. I'm not. This is not. This it's across the board. This is the boys in the hood, and this is the adults in the suburbs, and the people in the rural areas, and the people in the affluent communities, and people in it. Everybody's got a
gun, but it's also it's a fundamental American right. So
that's what
it's not. That's part of it too. I mean, you feel like
yes.
When people think something is their right, that it doesn't matter what you say.
That's why it's not a logical thing.
Okay.
And so you can't even. I'm not even talking about the Second Amendment because the Second Amendment, was back there, and when the country was being built, it's a whole different deal. That's not it. That's not it. So I'm gonna throw this. I'm not talking about gun control. I just want people to what. Are we? I guess the thing I want to know is I want to know two things. Are we resigned to having just a populace that's strapped? Everybody.
We have that now.
Yeah, but how do we feel about that? And is that how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? I'm just I think that's definitely where we are. Mm-hmm. And then I want to ask some fundamental questions like, what should I tell the kids, really? Because I know what I've been telling them. Should I, what should I tell them? If they believe in carrying a gun, should I tell them yes or no? I know what I tell them. I'm throwing it out to my folks. Maybe I'm telling them the wrong thing. Maybe I should tell them to bring a gun everywhere they go. Because they're trying to, what? Protect themselves. So, and then there's another thing. Because telling the teachers that they got to have one. So I got kids that come on Tuesday night, right? And Thursday night. Should I have a gun at the club? I'm just asking. I mean, should I have one there? Should I be like, should I, and what kind of gun should I have? Should I have a 38? Should I have an AK? Should I have a Uzi? What should I have? I'm just asking. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm doing the whole thing wrong. Maybe look, I work with young people. I'm asking, what do we do about these guns? That's really what I know. Gun control, if you got an idea, I want to just hear your feelings, your ideas, and because,
Well, your key question, what I'm hearing, and Ann just said it, and what is it, the question is safety, right? We want to feel safe in our neighborhoods, in our communities. Are these things making us actually feel safer? And if they aren't, what are they doing? Because if they're not making us safer, then there's another unintended. Then we're saying we want to be safe, but something else is happening, and what is that?
All of that's in the pot. I put it all in there. People, look. All I know is people say there are too many guns, and their way to deal with that is to get it up. And what's a legal gun and an illegal gun? What's a good gun and a bad gun? I just want to throw it out there, but I really want to know. I want people to help
And then
me.
there's having a gun and knowing how to use one.
Okay, here we go. It is Alive and Free Radio, the Street Soldiers. We're talking about guns, weapons, firearms, burners, gats, whatever you want to call it. We're talking about that. I don't know how many stories I've done over the years with somebody, just innocent. I'm only starting naming names. You know, almost 99% of these tragedies, with a weapon, school shootings, the mass shootings, Sandy Hook, the latest one in Oregon, we heard one just today in Florida. I just read one about a 3-year-old who got shot by a 6-year-old brother playing cops and robbers, and he saw a gun on top of the refrigerator, and he went and got it, and then he killed his brother. I mean, we've had plenty of stories. That was the 2-year-old.
Shot his father while he was sleeping.
Yeah, and another one found his mother. Went in his mother. She carried a gun for protection in her purse, and the youngster got out and shot her. I mean, I got so many these ridiculous. So I got little ones, I got big ones, I got hood ones, I got suburb ones, I got, So everybody, it seems to me. If you want to throw the gun on it, the collectors out, that's still a fascination with guns. Okay, but if you want to throw the hunters out. More guns in America than there are people. Everybody's got one. America's love affair with guns. And so what do we do with this armed populace? And everybody's got a gun for the same reason, to protect themselves. I guess the main question is, what do I tell these young people? What do I tell them? I got them in front of me. They got questions. They trying to stay alive and yeah, the name of the show is Alive and Free, Street Soldiers Radio. So guns are killing people. So I got to talk about it. And, I'm throwing it all out there. Let's throw gun control out there. You want to talk about that? Let's throw what's the phrase? Guns don't kill people. People do. We'll put all that into the pot. All that's into the pots now. I want to know your feelings, your thoughts. What do we do?
Doc, I got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
You sit on police commission, correct?
Yes.
What do law enforcement say about all of this? What is their take on the right to bear arms and the whole issue with all of the guns out there and the debate on gun regulation or gun control?
Well, law enforcement, first of all, they're licensed and allowed to carry firearms. But let me just say, part of the problem with them is the same thing, right? They got these firearms, and in fact, how many shootings have we had